Hi friends, in the previous tutorial we understood Python list and various built-in methods we can use while working with lists. In this tutorial as well, we will discuss some other methods of creation and utilization of Python lists. There are few different ways you can create lists in Python. To better understand them, let's first see how to create lists with these approaches. Let's first see using for loops. The most common method of creating a list is through Python for loop. We use these three steps to create a list using for loop. Let's say you want to square all numbers with single digit and put them in a list. How to do this using for loop? First, initialize an empty list. Say square list. Second, write a for loop and iterate it over a range of digits from 0 to 9 and square all numbers present in the sequence. Third, append each square value to end of the list. Let me execute this loop. Now let's see content of this variable square underscore list. You can see that it is a list of perfect squares of single digit numbers. This is one way of creating a list. We have used for loop here. Now let's try another method using map function. Map function provides an alternative approach that is based on functional programming. In map function, you pass a function and an iterable sequence. Let's write the same logic of squaring single digit numbers using map function. Let's first create a list of integers from 0 to 9. Now write a function to square numbers in which elements of this list will be mapped. That's how we define a custom function in Python. Let's not focus on this function as of now. Just consider it a method which takes elements of a list, integer underscore list as input and returns square of that element. Now write map function whose arguments will be this function square underscore numbers and this list int underscore list respectively. Here in map function you can see that we have mapped each element of a list to a function or method square underscore numbers. If I run this piece of code and check what this variable square underscore values holds and what is its data type, you see it is not a list but a map object. So now if you want to convert it into a list, you will have to use list function. Now if we run this code and try to check the content held by this variable, you see it's a same squared list which is having perfect squares of all single digit numbers. So map function is another way of creating a list. Now let's discuss third method, which is list comprehension. List comprehension is the most common method to create a list in one-line code. It is an elegant way to create lists. With this approach, you can rewrite for loop which you have seen in first example in just a single line of code. Let's understand it by trying to solve previous problem of squaring all single digit numbers and storing them into a list. Before we understand syntax and usage of this method, let's first check content held by this variable squares. You see, it's a list of perfect squares from 0 to 9. What is your observation about this approach? You can say, rather than creating an empty list and adding each element to the end, we have simply defined the list and its contents at the same time, right? Yeah, list comprehension is that simple. It follows this format. Required list equals expression for member in iterable. Here, iterable can be any Python data structure, say list, set, any sequence, or any other object which can return its elements one at a time. In this example, iterable is range from 0 to 9. Member is the element present in the iterable. In this example, member is variable item. And expression represents a method or any other valid statement that can return a value. It uses member of the iterable as its component. In this example, item multiplied by item is the required expression. From these illustrations, you can observe that list comprehension is the most suitable way of creating a list. It is simple and quick. Expression requirement in list comprehension is very flexible. You would like to use it at many places where you could use map function or simple for loop method. Also in list comprehension, we directly get list as output, while in case of map function you have seen we get map object and we need list function to convert that into a list. So friends, that's all about ways of creating a Python list. This tutorial and previous tutorial is sufficient for you to understand and build logic using Python lists. In the next tutorial, we will discuss another very important data structure in Python, Python tuple. If this tutorial has increased your knowledge of Python lists, then please like and share this content with your friends and colleagues. If you are new to our channel, then do not forget to subscribe so that you can get a notification the moment we upload a new tutorial.